This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum, and this is my wife, Emily Frankel.
And?
We're going to give you a video today based on what?
Well, it's going to be a post for my blog,
Okay.
M's Talkery.
That sounds good.
And I'd like to know why you are so fanatically, intensely focused on tennis. A picture of tennis flashes, a ball, a racket. John is zoom.
Yes, well, I think from your description of the subject of our video today, the audience can get the impression that you're not too crazy about my fascination with tennis.
No, I am crazy about... I'm fascinated by the fact that you're so interested in tennis.
Well, I was a tennis enthusiast growing up, and I was a city champion when I was in the boys division. I was the city champion when I was in the juniors division, and I played in the state championships, and I played in college, and I toured with my doubles partner Bill Davis, who is a professional tennis player, and we went to Europe, and so I was down in
Did you want to be a
Nice.
tennis star?
No, not really.
Really?
I didn't want to. Bill Davis was dedicated to tennis. He enjoyed teaching. He enjoyed playing.
And you enjoyed all the girls that flocked around him, too.
Yeah,
I know. I
absolutely,
remember
yeah.
that.
But
So did you.
Well, I didn't even want to be an actor. You know, it seemed ridiculous to me.
Well, yes and no.
Well, but the truth is that I never lost my love for tennis, and watching the tournament, and I've watched it over the years as it's gotten better and more skillful. The rackets are better, and the balls are regulated in a very specific way, and all of the technical things. And you've got cameras that can tell you whether the lines are in, and the rules have changed slightly, but it's still a wonderfully competitive sport, and it's an example of something that is very close to life itself. It's a metaphor in many ways for man's struggle against his own environment, and that's something that's
No
true.
other sport does that for you.
Well, yes, none does it quite as effectively as tennis, because it's I understand the sport, and it's one against one. It's not a team sport unless you're playing doubles, and even then it's not. It's just two people against two other people, and it's very much a struggle to the death in a sense. Because when you're defeated, you've lost, and if your life was on the line, you'd be dead.
Were you crazy about winning? I mean, were you hugely determined to win?
Not as much as I should have. If I'd become a professional, I would have.
Being a professional means what, John?
Being a professional was a lot different in my day, because being a professional in my day, when I was 20 years old, there was only amateur tennis, and you didn't get any money for winning. You only got medals or trophies, and the only people who made money was the top professional, who would generally play a tour with the top amateur of the year that they were touring in. So that you didn't have the extreme competitive situation where people were vying for money and for a livelihood that you do today.
What really hits me is when you said it's a metaphor for life.
Yes.
That's kind of scary.
Well,
I'm living with a guy who's into a metaphor for life.
Well, it is. I think people who watch any sport use it, and theater. We're both in theater, and drama and dance have elements of that in it. It tells the story of life, and tennis is an activity that exemplifies it. It shows you the struggle of one man against another.
Okay, John Cullum, you answered my question.
Not very well, but you
Thank
can
you,
tell that I
John.
really enjoyed it. I think you could tell more from what you said than what I said.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Emily, and we'll talk to you next week, all right? This is AI.R. See you next week.